hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Spud Club podcast. This is our January edition, January 15th, or I'm sorry, January 17th is when we're recording this, right in the middle of the month. And I got here Dave and Mikey. So hello, guys.
Hey.
What's going on?
How's it going?
All right, so our usual cast here, the original Spud Clubs, right? Let's get into the first topic, first thing right away. Well, you know what? Let's not do that. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible host. Mikey, what games have you been playing? Bring us up to speed. We haven't had you on the podcast in a while. You've been, I don't know, avoiding us for some reason, never showing up.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I've been crazy busy with work, but
Lies.
no, on my time off, as of now I've been playing just honestly Black Ops 6 Zombies. That's, you guys know me how I am with zombies. Probably one of the other games that I've been playing. Well, I think the game that I played before that was maybe, I know I played Grime, but I think I had mentioned that on the last podcast because that was like 4 or 6 months ago. But mainly just grinding zombies. I'm trying to hit Prestige Master and get all these camos and stuff. So I'm pretty boring, pretty mainstream, I guess.
Now, why are you so hard on zombies? Like, is it easy because you can hop in and out, or it's just what you really like right now?
So it's kind of like a nostalgia thing. I mean, I guess, because I started playing it ever since I remember when the first World at War came out, and then a buddy of mine at that time, they had the game. I didn't have the game. But they're like, oh, check out, you can play zombies on Call of Duty. And of course, at that time, Modern Warfare was really popular. And I think World at War came not too long after that, or before that, whenever it was. But we played that, loved it, and then obviously the next game came out, Black Ops 1, and we just played. It just throughout the years we've always played it. We've always had fun with it. Me and my wife, when we were in high school, like we played it for such a long time, and it's just been really cool to see like all the different, like weapons that they have, maps that they have, different like zombie types that they have, and it was always really fun and exciting when like the next map came out because you're like, where are they going to go next? And um, there was like a big dip in like what would you say? I guess in hype, if you will, or excitement. Probably around like Black Ops 4, I would say. Like it was good, but it wasn't as well received as some of the other titles. Anyway, it's just it's a nostalgia thing. I love zombies, even though it can be repetitive. They've kind of, I don't know. For me, I like grinding camos and doing like calling cards and stuff. Now, once they run out of that type of stuff, or once I complete everything, will I play it as much? Who knows? I guess that's why I'm trying to like pace myself, um, and always have something to do. But of course, they have like new maps that come out like every few months, and new challenges and new weapons and new zombie. I guess it's the same thing over and over again. And then obviously there's like a story element to it. You're like, oh, where's the story going to go next? And yeah, that's like my biggest thing.
Gotcha. All right, sounds fun.
Yeah,
You been playing anything else?
not as of lately. We'll get into it a little bit, but I've had Dying Light 2 for a long, long time, and I've been wanting to play that one, but we'll get into that here in a little bit.
Okay, cool. All right, Dave, what you been up to? What you been playing?
I've been playing. I took a vacation for pretty much the entire month of December, and the only thing I brought with me was my Switch. So I played a bunch of like Mario Party Jamboree or Jubilee Jamboree.
Nice.
Well, whatever it is, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I played a lot of that with my kids and my wife. Played a bit of Mario Kart, some Smash Brothers, the Nintendo World Championships, which I really enjoy. I had a blast playing some of that, and it's like it's a lot of fun just doing the challenges the best you can, and then unlocking the pins and stuff like that. So I've been working on that. I've actually been thinking about getting that digital just so I have it on my Switch all the time instead of with the cart. Because I got that collector's edition for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the same
But
one.
what else? What else have I been playing? Oh, obviously, Helldivers. I'm about to be getting back into Fortnite because it's like Godzilla's in the battle pass and he's open now to get. But the Helldivers is fun. But I don't spend a lot of time on it. I usually just hop in and do my daily mission or whatever to collect medals. But now that that big test that I had to take is out of the way, I'm going to be getting back into gaming um, a lot more. I had to take a break for a little bit, but yeah,
Nice.
I think that pretty much wraps it up for what I've been playing. Mikey, if you haven't played that Nintendo World Championships, I think you should. It's
I
like a
think I'm.
challenge. I think is like right up your alley.
Yeah, it's very repetitive.
Oh, that one's that one's that's like what they all do, like the old games, isn't it? Like the original
Yeah,
Zelda, Metroid stuff.
yeah,
Seasoned. We
yeah,
call them seasoned games, not old. Okay.
yeah.
You
Come on,
young
Mike.
buck.
Don't be ageist.
Come on.
Aged like aged like fine wine. Okay, yeah, yeah. I remember seeing the commercials. It didn't really catch my eye because I didn't know exactly what it was. And so yeah, I ended up passing it by. But no, that would be pretty cool. Like I'm sure like time trials and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you've played. I'm sure you've played a bunch of those kind of games, and I think you would enjoy that. I think, because you're kind of competitive. You're like competitive. I think
Well,
you
let
would
me.
like that because it's got a bunch of cool features too. It's like you can just do all the different challenges and log your personal best time, but every week they have a new championship, quote unquote, that they put out. And at the end, it's got like 5 different challenges of varying degrees of difficulty. At the end of that week, the results come out, and you see where you rank against everybody who played them. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
pretty cool.
It's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. Oh, and I forgot to mention, since I was playing Switch a lot while I was on vacation, I played through Metroid Zero Mission on
Too
the
nice.
Game Boy Advance on Switch. I
Yeah.
played through Super Mario Land 2, and I'm sure we'll chat later about Metroid Zero Mission, but man, I really like that. That was a lot of fun. I
Was that
hopped
your
in
first
and I
time playing
played
it?
through it. Yes,
Oh wow. And you know what's
because I
funny
never
about?
played. Hmm?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I never played the original Metroid on NES. Like, I mean, I've played it, but I never really got into it. But I thought like the remake on Game Boy Advance would be a lot of fun to play. So I did,
Yeah.
and I played through it, and I think my goal is to play through all the quote unquote numbered Metroids
Yeah.
soon. But I'm having a hard time with the one on Game Boy, the Samus Returns. I'm having a
That
hard
one
time with that one. It's
was
not.
that the original one?
No, what do you mean? The
Because I
original?
think the Metroid 2, Samus Returns, that one came out for like the
Yeah,
Game
yeah,
Boy
that's
or
the
Game Boy
one.
Advance.
That's the one I'm
Okay.
talking about because I'm playing it on
Yeah.
the Nintendo um, online
Yeah.
expansion pass, Game Boy stuff or whatever. And I'm like, man, there's like no direction here. Gameplay is whack. But I know that there's that remake for the 3DS.
Yeah.
But I'm very tempted to drop some money and order a 3DS and a copy of the game just so I can play the updated remake one. But then after that, I can follow up with the Super Nintendo one, then the other Game Boy Advance one, then the one on Switch, Dread.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, that
yeah,
is funny because when Zero Mission released for the Switch, like maybe the month or month and a half before it got released. So this is what will kind of spark up an interest for me to go back and play an old game, like replay an old game. I'll think about a certain song or something, and then I'll start listening to like the soundtrack on YouTube or something. And then I'm like, man, I really want to go play that, because you start having all those old memories come back. And I was like, man, why don't they? And I was like, they gotta have it on the Switch. And I looked, and I was like, they don't have it on the Switch. Like, what's going on? Sure enough, like a month and a half later, they ended up releasing it. I was like, that's perfect timing. So I kind of got out of it. Like I got out of that want to go and play it again, but I know it's there. So I'm like, all right, when it's there, I'm able to play it, So because
yeah.
I did that. Well, I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say I did it with a few games where I was playing it. I sat down with my kids and I was playing a few of the old games that I had played, and so they were, of course, they loved that, and that was going to be one of the games that I was going to sit down and play with them. It just wasn't out yet, and so yeah, good
Yeah.
game, really good game.
Yeah, and I realized because I was looking through updating, all those little different consoles on the Switch that you can play. I was like, oh, I can technically play every numbered Metroid game on the Switch.
Yeah,
So I was like, hey, why not? What is the other one on Game Boy Advance called? The other Metroid game. I
um,
think technically it's Metroid 4.
oh, the Metroid Fusion.
Yes, that one. Yeah, see,
Yeah,
that's on there. Zero Mission, Samus Returns,
oh yeah.
obviously Super Metroid, and then I've got Metroid Dread, and I was like, I like Metroid. It's a lot of fun, but this Game Boy one's giving me trouble.
I actually had never played that one. That one, just because I never, like growing up, I never had a Game Boy, and I never really knew, so I never really knew about the game. Of course, when I got super into when I got really into Metroid, not Super Metroid, but really into Metroid, I started like looking up what all games they had, and that was one of them. And I was, at that time, the Game Boy was probably already, 5 to 10 years old. Um, so there was no, just never got it, never got to play it. So when they made the remake, I was interested, but I never. That's my issue with Nintendo is that they never, other than like your core games, Kirby, Donkey Kong. Well, I'd say Donkey Kong, but they haven't really shown Donkey Kong love other than remasters. But anyway, um,
Yeah,
like
they just dropped a
Kirby.
new one yesterday.
Well, that's not like that was a Wii title,
Yeah,
and it's cool that they did that. Like if you want to play it again, and that's one of those games that I love because it was like a pretty much like a one for one remake of the original Super Nintendo Donkey Kong Country. Um, but anyway, that's kind of what always deterred me from buying like side Nintendo consoles is because the games that they have aren't always the best. So you may drop. That's just my output on it. They've dropped, um, like I think for the original 3DS they dropped Metroid Prime Hunters, and then they dropped like Metroid Prime Pinball, and it was you know I love Metroid Prime the series, but then those side games were like they sucked. They were
yeah,
not,
that's what I heard.
and it was like, well, I'm not going to go waste like $250 just to buy a couple games that I might enjoy or might not enjoy. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah, I
there
hear
just
you
wasn't
on
a lot
that.
of, as growing up. I've been working since I was 14, so like trying to save up money was already. I try to invest in what I know I was going to like, not gamble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, uh, but yeah, so like the 3DS, the Metroid 2 remake, I would have loved to play that because it looked really fun. I just didn't have a 3DS at that time. So,
Yeah, it's kind of the conundrum I'm in. I'm like, man, I really want to play that, and I don't want to play this Game Boy version, but I don't want to drop a few $100, especially on eBay.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
What
think
have you been
Let's see.
playing, Chris?
well, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. I'm getting to the very end of that. I was going to try to beat it last night, but I
Nice.
went to bed too early. Hopefully going to beat it tonight. That's my main game, but just like you, Dave, I was on a long vacation. Ended up actually seeing you, Dave, in Missouri.
Yeah, that was fun,
That
man.
was great. Mikey didn't show up though, like always.
Yeah, Mikey
but
wasn't there.
whatever. It's all good. So
It was.
He didn't
Go
hear the
ahead.
call.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
didn't
hear the
it.
Lions call.
It's okay. It's his. We'll blame him. But other things I've been playing. So I had my Switch the whole time, right? And I think I talked about this last episode. I picked up Tears of the Kingdom for $30. So
Nice.
I have put approximately 30 minutes into it. No, hold on. It's not that I don't like it. It's I wanted something a bit
You should have
less.
fluffed up your numbers to make it sound bigger.
Yeah.
370
really
seconds.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, say it different. Oh man. No, but I've actually got pretty big into A Link to the Past. So, because I have the subscription to Nintendo Online or whatever, but I got the base subscription, and it ends in, I think, mid-February. So I'm trying to hurry up and knock it out so I don't have to re-buy it, because I was going to play A Link to the Past on my NES Classic, but it's not as portable as just my Switch. So I've been playing that, been really big into that. I think I'm almost to the Dark World, so I about a quarter of the way in, I'm sure. I have another long work trip coming up this next week where all I'm going to have is my Switch again, so I'm going to start playing that. I think
That was
that's
actually one of
really
the
it.
games. Well, it was funny because that was actually one of the games that I sat down with my kids to play, and I was trying to. Do you always use the guides, or do you ever try to do stuff like blind? I guess.
Well, I'll go blind until I have a new rule. So I used to use the guide no matter what, which I think it's cheating. I know. I will use a guide when I'm crazy lost. You know, when I've searched
Okay.
everything, but it's just like that niche thing. Like a lot of these things, you have to like run into a bookcase to knock down a book, and then that's how you proceed. Like, I don't have the
Yeah.
time to do that. You know?
Well, it's called
Yeah.
critical thinking.
Okay,
You know?
Dave. I don't have the time to, I don't know, just walk around randomly running into things. I'm not 10
Don't have
anymore.
the time to rub two brain cells together to figure out.
You know,
Use the run boots to knock this thing off a bookshelf.
I'm about to mute here. No,
I'm
but
just kidding.
No,
Just
don't do
kidding.
it.
no, I don't know. It's all good. So yeah. Anyways, I'm getting. I'll use the guide when I have to. No, it's another
Okay.
one of those things. And I was into collecting the guides like a year ago. I started spending too much money on it. I picked that one up, so I already had the guide, the old one from the 90s, so I didn't have to go out and research the internet or nothing. But also what Dave was talking about, the NES World Champion Edition. Dave actually gave that to me. So Mikey, if you had shown up to the meeting, you would have gotten a game.
Yeah, Mikey.
Got a copy.
You would have gotten a Christmas gift.
Yeah. I was
Aw.
completely unprepared. I didn't think I was going to get anything, so I had to buy him I paid for the hors d'oeuvres or something, or I don't know, the
Yeah,
appetizer.
you paid for the whatever Colton's calls the onion.
Yeah, the
bloomin'
bloomin'
onion.
bloomin', like
Whatever,
$5,
yeah.
whatever. But okay, so
It was good though. It was real good.
it was pretty good. Yeah, we had a good time watching the Bears get crushed. That was awesome. Let's see. So playing the World Championship Edition, I honestly am not the biggest fan. For one thing, I can't get the screen bigger. So you have two screens on there. You know what I'm talking about? If anyone's seen it, there's two screens, and it's not even the size of your Switch. So they're really small, and you don't really need it, but it's very annoying to me that I can't blow it up to see what I'm doing better. So I've put
Oh, you're
maybe
talking
2
about
hours.
when you're. Are you talking about when you're competing?
Yeah.
And all the different screens are on there. There is a option that you can make your screen a little bigger,
Mm-hmm.
but it still shares the screen with all those other screens.
Right.
So that does make it difficult. I know what you're talking about.
Slightly annoying.
It's better.
It's
It's
fine.
better on the TV.
Okay. And I haven't done that yet. I actually haven't even plugged my Switch in since I've been home. But my youngest son, Todd, loves that game. He's gone through and like almost every single game, done the time trials to get the highest he can get. And he completely understands it, and he gets with it. He doesn't really understand the coin challenge because he just gets to the end and he goes, I got to the end and nothing happened. He can't read yet. So I tell him, hey, you got to get the coins or the points, whatever. And whatever. He doesn't care. But that's where I'm at. So, what do I say? Uncharted, NES, World Champion, and then A Link to the Past. Really, is all I can say I've been playing. But yeah. So you guys want to get into the first real topic of the day?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
the Nintendo Switch 2 had the announcement trailer, and they showed it to us. What do y'all think?
I thought it was. It seemed. I mean, obviously they just kind of showed off. I mean, I think the main feature of it, where you can kind of plug the controllers in and unplug them. I think that's a great. I think that'll be a great modification to it
Actually,
because
I think
it's less likely.
that's going to be the best. So I think a lot of people might not understand what's going on there. It's obviously magnets, but something I do for my job now is flying drones, and we connect our batteries using magnets like that. And I'm throwing like a $20,000 drone in the air on just a magnet holding the battery. Now the battery falls out, which it won't, then my whole drone crashes. But the power that those magnets have is incredible. So I'm sure they're using some sort of technology similar. So like when I take the battery off to swap, I have to try to take it off. It feels like I'm breaking it. And the way that in the video it showed the controller snapping real hard to the switch, that's the same way our batteries go onto the drone. It like grabs it and like it holds it. So I am actually thrilled that there's not a rail anymore and it's a magnet. That to me is probably the best.
The rail, I think, was the biggest issue with the original Switch because over time you're playing it. Obviously, you're putting stress on that rail. Before you know it, you got wobbly Joy Cons.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The one thing that I've seen people are saying, "Hey, this might be a problem," is that little circuit board looking part because
Or like
the
plug it
Joy
in.
Cons don't. Yeah, the Joy Cons don't connect just by the magnet. There's also that little
Right.
um, circuit board part. And I could see that, especially with like a younger person or a child or something having the Switch 2, which I think is kind of a dumb name, by the way.
Yep.
Um, that little piece getting chipped or broken,
Yeah.
you know, or
That's what I was
corroded.
kind of. Yeah. Well, I'm surprised they didn't have like just like little contacts, which may I'm sure they probably experimented with a whole bunch of things and probably came up with the best design. But yeah, I'm surprised they don't have like little, just like what the Switch has now. Like little contacts to where you slide it in place and it'll make that contact and make the electrical connection or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it might be okay. Like, because it looks kind of like an SD card, kind of like plug-in port. You know how you look at an old SD card, it looks that way
Yeah.
with those connections. Now it might break off over time, but you might have to really try to break that off. So I'm
Yeah.
optimistic about it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I don't think they've released the specs of the system, have they? Or
No.
just the video?
There have been specs leaked, but it's not been officially from Nintendo leaked. So
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and that's what I was going to say. I think they really need to step up. So, Dave, you said you haven't played Metroid Dread?
no, not yet.
Okay, so that game obviously came out like in 21, 22, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I thought there was like it's the scene, it's on par with most Metroids. There's such like big visual depth to a lot of the levels that you're exploring. And what I mean is like there's one of the levels or one of like the stages or rooms, whatever you want to call it, that you're exploring. There is like a monster in the background, like a dead monster in the background, um, and then there's like caves that just go on and on and on, and you can kind of see the depth of the world that you're in, and it helps build the environment of this game that you're trying to play. But the limitation with the Switch is like because of the processing power of the Switch, I felt like it was very limited um, in its ability to handle visuals to help build that world. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't doing a service to the game itself. And so that's why I'm hoping that the Switch 2 will have is like a bigger, I don't know the technical terms, GPU or CPU or processing power, whatever. Um, but all that, I hope, obviously, they make a big enough upgrade to where, if they're going to make these types of games and really make them like breathtaking as they should be in 2025, I really hope that they upgrade like the visual, the processing power or whatever. So
From what I understand, it's going to be on par with, if not a little better than even the Steam Deck. But that's just what I'm hearing in the world of X or social media or whatever. Because they're even saying that it's like, oh, hey, fine, remake and remake are going to be on this thing. It's like, well, the normal Switch ain't going to run that at all. It's going to be, it's going to look like, Minecraft Final Fantasy 7. But I don't know. I'm pretty optimistic with this thing. It looks cool. It's nice and sleek.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? You think you're going to buy it straight off the bat as soon as you find one in the wild?
No, I'm gonna wait because it's got backwards compatibility, right?
Yes.
So it'll probably have forward compatibility. Like what I'm saying is, there's probably gonna still be a couple games coming out for the original Switch. So there's no reason for me to go straight off and buy it. But going back to the power thing, I want to like relate it to the generations. Like the Switch right now, the one that we've had for years, I feel as if that's on par with the 360 PS3 era. Does that make sense as far as horsepower?
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
I could see that because
Okay.
games from those generations are on the Switch.
Right, it's close. So is the Switch 2 going to be on par with the PS4? Or Dave, what you're saying sounds like it's going to be similar to the PS5. I don't see that happening, but I don't know. At the very least, I'd like it to be in 1080 60 as far as the screen is on the handheld part. But
I imagine they're going to use the screen. It'll probably be OLED.
yeah.
Or of a similar quality. It's bigger now. I think even bigger than the current OLED Switch is. So, I mean, that's good. Like the screen will be better. I don't know. It all depends on how much power they can cram in there. But we got to remember, it's like Nintendo's never been, oh, we got to stay at the top, because they don't. Nintendo doesn't really care. They're more about, hey, this is a fun experience.
Yeah, that all switched after the GameCube didn't do that great. And so the Wii took off because of the quality of game versus quality of graphics. And that's why we all love Nintendo, right? That's what makes it keep coming back. But as far as buying it, not day one. No.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I was actually talking to my wife about it because when I sent out the trailer to like my kids and my wife, I was like, I'm not going to get it. If I find one wild, maybe, but I'm not going to be waiting outside of a Target at 3:00 in the morning for it or anything like that. I use an OLED Switch now. My launch Switch is safely in storage, but the way I see it is like that'll keep me going until there are games and maybe a revision of the console or something like that. And I want to know what the battery power is going to be like too.
Well, so I'm looking I guess these are somewhat confirmed. This is, mind you, this is like an article, but I was looking this up. So yeah, I think Chris, what you had said with the PlayStation 4 process, like CPU, GPU, I think it's going to be on par with those systems. And so, like I said, it's going to have a powered by an NVIDIA custom Tegra T239 processor. Which is pretty much on par for like Xbox One, PlayStation 4.
Okay.
So, which isn't, and that's why I'm, Nintendo does their own thing. Like, obviously, people still buy their stuff, so, they're gonna do. They've always done their own thing. Like, look at ever since like even the GameCube. The GameCube was such a weird design. The Wii was such a weird design. The Wii U was such a weird design. So they're just gonna keep doing to where I think they want to be innovative as far as like what they can use. They want to, instead of just having like a typical controller, they want to have a very interactive experience between their controller. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Did you guys
and so
see how it looks like the Joy-Cons are a mouse?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. I don't know if I like that.
I'm wondering what we would use it for.
Well, they had what was it? Civilization 6 was on there, and that's a primarily PC game. So like, I'm assuming games like that, you have the mouse and keyboard capability, just like we have on the Xbox and PS5. If you want to plug it in, you can. So
now I got to carry a mouse pad around with my Switch.
if you,
I
don't know.
I'm optimistic. I'm looking for seeing what more they announce in April, but it's like I don't see that having a lot of functionality. I could see like then it's like, oh, another forgotten feature,
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool that they have that, but at the same time, I don't see myself using it. But I don't know. I don't know what, like you said, what game is that for? I don't know. And I'll tell you what, if I can play a game that's like a PC game, I'm sure as shit not going to buy it on my Switch first. I'm going to be on my gaming PC.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But who knows? Maybe I want to play it on the go. I don't know. But I had some other questions I wanted to talk about it. Dave, you brought up the name Switch 2. This is the first time that Nintendo has gone with something that's like this, but this is number 2. Like the closest I ever had was the Super Nintendo, right? Nintendo and Super Nintendo, okay? But they're so drastically different, people understood that there's a difference. I think what they're trying to do is they tried the Wii and the Wii U instead of the Wii 2.
Well, that confused everybody.
Right. So now they're not going to be confused. I don't know if I would want them to make a different name. It's so similar, you might as well say Switch 2, right? But I don't want them to be so bland as like PlayStation, but I don't want them to be so stupid like Xbox. So yeah, I guess I'm happy with Switch 2.
I would have preferred, and maybe this is just me being stuck in my ways or whatever, Super Nintendo Switch.
Oh my god, the Super Switch.
Right?
Dang.
Come on. Who's coming up with these marketing ideas?
Come on,
they
Nintendo.
need to hire me, man.
Where's Reggie at? Reggie would have fixed this.
Or here's another one. What about the Nintendo Switch Cube?
Okay, you're fine.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing with them.
Reel it back.
I got to work for
65.
Nintendo for 2 minutes. Yes.
Okay, fine.
Well, I even saw like the dock that they had, and it's literally the same logo, the same, Nintendo Switch logo with the big fat 2 on there. And I was like, come on, man.
Isn't it kind of distracting? It's like, I don't know. I'm sure I'll get used to it. But right now, where I'm sitting at, I'm like, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's kind of like how we all were at the PS5, the way that looked. I mean, I still hate it, but it's the same feeling. Like, yeah, cool, it looks new, but I hate it. So
yeah.
Well, for PlayStation, I'm stuck in my ways. That's their naming convention, and I'm like, okay, I'm good with it.
It works. I'm talking about the way the PS5 looks.
Oh no, it's ugly as shit.
Right.
I hate it. You know what? Replacing those white plates on my PS5 with the black ones that I bought from Sony, dude, that made a huge difference.
A lot better.
But why would you have to? Like they did
no,
so
you shouldn't
bad.
have to.
Right.
I remember reading one time when it was like first shown. It's like somebody said, it's like, that looks like a ski lodge for roaches. And I'm like, you know what? He's not wrong. This person is not wrong when they said that.
It looks like a Wi-Fi thing. Like, a modem or an air purifier. Oh my God.
That's what a lot of people were making memes off of. I was like, that's great.
At least Xbox went into it. They went face first into it. I leaned into it when they were saying it looked like a refrigerator, so they made a refrigerator.
Yes, I've seen that at Target.
Yeah, I saw it too. I ain't buying it, but I like it. But, all right,
yeah, I think it's so weird. People are just so used to Nintendo naming their different consoles something uniquely, something so uniquely. Even the from the DS to the 3DS, that made sense because obviously like it's in the name.
Yeah.
But I think when they're doing the 2, it's just something kind of not used to being seen from Nintendo. So
it seems out of character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll take some getting used to. So
okay, here we go. The Super Switch Advanced.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the
add cube to the end of that. Super Switch Advanced
Cube
Cube.
64. Yeah. Let's do them all.
And then add a U at the end of that.
And then put Wii in there somewhere. I don't know how.
Famicom.
Yeah. I forgot about Famicom.
Oh my God. What
man.
if they'd have called it the Switch, but with 2 eyes instead of 1 eye?
Okay,
That
that
would've
would have pissed
confused
people
everybody.
off. Yeah, except for like, oh, I see, to understand. And be like, that's so dumb. Okay, all right. Let's get back on track here. So I was completely wrong here about the backwards compatibility. I said there's no way Nintendo's going to do it. They're going to miss out on so much money, but they're doing it.
Right.
It's it's
was
backward.
right.
Yeah, you guys were right. That's totally awesome to me. Of course, I didn't. Okay, I was hoping I wasn't right, and I'm glad I wasn't right. But I didn't see Nintendo not being greedy. But okay, whatever. But the backwards compatibility is going to be great. Just like Mikey, you were talking about Metroid Dread. It kind of seemed like it was chugging along. There's going to be so many games that are going to play better. Just like A Link's Awakening, that remake, you'd see the frame drops all the time. I'm sure you guys noticed it in the new Zelda game. Echoes of Wisdom. But there's so I'm sure Tears of the Kingdom is going to play better. I kind of didn't really get too far into that because I didn't really like the way it looked. It clearly looked like it wanted to look better, but it couldn't. And does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
And I think it's, did you guys, I'm sure I've told you guys this before, but like the Mortal Kombat 1 Switch port, did you guys ever see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw people making fun of it.
That was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Like the game was literally unplayable and it looked so bad. And I mean, I'm sure even on the Switch 2, it's not going to look that much better, because I'm sorry, that's just too much graphical and rendering to be had on, something that small. I don't think it's going to work out that great.
Yeah, I don't think that game's for that system, and they should have left it off of there,
Yeah.
But whatever.
I agree. Because, I mean, you can't even really, because it's a current gen game, and just because the Switch has been around for, 8 years now, doesn't mean it's still current gen, just because it's the most recent thing. And I don't know. I'm actually, where I'm at, there's a Switch tournament going on in a few days, and one of the games is Mortal Kombat 1. Thing I was like, why the hell would you have a Switch tournament with Mortal Kombat 1 and not just like Smash or Mario Kart or anything other than that? I mean, runs like garbage apparently on the Switch. So maybe that's like why
that might be point of it. It's so bad it's good. I don't know. No,
well,
no.
I don't know if you've because Chris, you played Twilight Princess. Did you finish that one or not yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that one, at that time, what it seemed like, between Metroid Prime, like the Twilight Princess, Super Smash Brothers, a lot of the games that were coming out, they kind of seemed on par, like they were trying to progress graphically and even implement like some type of realism,
You mean
like I don't know if you guys ever
on the GameCube and like back in 2002?
Well, there was like a natural progression, from like the GameCube to the Wii. It seemed like they were trying to get games to be designed to be better graphically, more visually breathtaking, which not saying that current games aren't, but and then it seemed like after like the Wii U, it just seemed like there was a drop off, and it kind of also puts like a limitation on some of the games that you're trying to design. Look at Kirby. Because like Wind Waker, that game's never going to look old because of the graphic style.
Right. Yeah.
And same thing with like the remastered Link's Awakening and some of the other Marios and Kirby's and stuff like that. And that's good.
You can even think back to like sprite-based games. Like look at a game on Super Nintendo that's just a gorgeous game, like Super Ghouls and Ghosts, or Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah.
Whichever one it is, that game looks amazing, and it will always look amazing. It's because of the art style and the artwork. You know,
Yeah.
Yep, completely agree.
And well, I'm wondering, like, or I guess not wondering, but I guess it to me it kind of puts like a somewhat of a limitation on, just because they choose to limit their processing power. That they're not, which that's probably not even what they're trying to market for. You know, they're like, hey, we're Nintendo, we're doing our own thing. We're not trying to compete with PlayStation or Xbox or even PC or whatever. We're doing our own thing. Um, I guess I don't know. There's just some developers that would probably like, hey, I'll never work with Nintendo just because our game would never fit on like a Nintendo platform. And I don't know. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. I guess it's just who you're appealing to. But it's it would be cool to see if there was like Nintendo exclusives that looked just as great as PlayStation or Xbox exclusives or whatever.
Yeah, because you
But
imagine a realistic looking Zelda, like and Real
some of
Engine
the monsters
5,
on there would be, yeah, that'd be
bro.
crazy.
It'd be nightmare fuel. It would be awesome. Like imagine Ocarina of Time put in Real Engine 5 to look actually realistic.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
or Majora's Mask.
Bro, nope, not
Ooh,
doing
yeah.
that. No, thank you.
Yeah, especially with all the horrifying
Oh,
mask,
nope. Oh my god.
transition
Yeah.
animations.
When you
Oh
transfer to
yeah.
a Deku scrub in like the first 5
Yeah.
minutes, it'd be like Resident Evil with Mikey playing it. Just put it down and walk away. 37 years old, I'm
Surprised you would.
terrified. Uh,
Yeah, dude. But that's that's just my opinion. People may not see it that way. I'm sure there's other people that may share that opinion also, but
no, I
I just don't think Nintendo is, or at this point maybe ever will, try to compete with some of the, I don't want to say bigger platforms, but just appeal to like that like mature of audience, I guess.
yeah.
Well,
Or
that's the interesting thing about Nintendo, though, right? Is like they're like, hey, we're here for like family fun experiences. We have some options for you, like there's Red Dead Redemption on the Switch. There's Witcher 3. Like we have these options for you if that's what you really want to play. But all realistically, it's like if you're going to play Red Dead or GTA or something like that, are you going to want to play it on your Switch?
No.
Or are you going to want to play it sitting on your couch playing on the PlayStation or the Xbox?
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Nintendo's always been like, hey, we got Mario Party here.
Hmm?
That's good old classic family fun. We got Smash Brothers, Mario Kart.
Right. And I don't need
Oh,
to
yeah.
All
have
these other games.
I don't need a realistic looking Smash Brothers or Mario Party. That would be so off-putting,
Yeah.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, that's kind of a world I want to live in. Like I'm good with what I got, but like what Mikey brought up, I now want. So
Well, even with Smash though, it's like the character designs are like a little more modern than even the actual like look, right? You denim buttons on their overalls.
gotcha.
It's like
Yeah.
their boots actually look like boots. Even like
Yeah.
Link, he looks like he's like not hyper realistic big chin, hero or anything, but a little more detailed.
Yeah.
Which I think is
Yeah.
really cool. But when it comes to
They
like realism and like Zelda games too, I think Twilight Princess is probably the most
that was
gritty
the furthest
that
they've
we've
pushed.
gotten. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's, and yeah, to your point, Dave, I think like Smash Brothers, like that's probably, like Mario, you can see the details on his jeans or his overalls. You can see or if like who was it, Ryu, where his bandana was like flowing in the wind, or Snake or whatever.
Yeah.
They implement like realism into the cartoonish designs, or like the unrealistic designs or whatever, which is it's still respectable. I think it's Smash Brothers is probably like the most, one of the more detailed um, cartoonish games that you can get. And so,
Yeah, and it's a great experience, and it runs perfectly on the Switch.
As long as you're not online.
Well,
now,
that
do you guys
depends
think
too
that
on
they'll?
whether it's handheld or on TV, also a little bit.
Yeah. Do you guys think they're done making Smash?
No.
Because they made that big to do, right? When they announced this last Smash. It's like, everyone's here. This is like the end all be all Smash. And the guy who's like creatively in charge of Smash. Yeah. I don't want them to be done. But at this point, it's like, how many other characters are you going to add? You know, outside of Waluigi, you know?
Yeah.
like I can see it getting like 100 remasters in the future.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, it's like we've been on the same Mario Kart for well over a decade now, right?
Yes. Well, because that was original, like a Wii U game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they reported it over to the Switch.
And then they kept adding to it. So who knows? Maybe they will continue that. But a lot of people are speculating that Mario Kart that they showed on the Switch 2 announcement, they're speculating that that's a new Mario Kart. So that'll be interesting, I think.
Yeah.
But when it comes to those kind of games, I see them more as like a platform to build off of, as opposed to like, oh, here's a whole new game. You know, it's like any sports game. It's like, why can't this just be a platform that updates all the time?
Yeah. Instead of having to buy a whole new one.
Yeah, like maybe redo it or make another one like every few years or so.
Yeah. With the backwards compatibility though, I'm pretty excited about that. It's because it's like you said, Chris, it's like I'm sure there will be games that'll still run on the Switch but are optimized for the Switch 2, which won't force me to have to buy a Switch 2 straight off the bat. But think about what Switch 2 can do for the Nintendo Pass. Like they might be able to add GameCube games now.
I think
they might be able to add Wii
They're
games.
just too lazy to. But yeah.
I kind of think that way as well.
Yeah.
But and just think, because if they keep the Switch Online the same but carry through, it's going to be so awesome, I think.
Yeah, I might actually pick it up if well, I don't know. They do have a lot on there for the expansion pass, but
they do. They certainly do.
I can't justify $50 on it right now. I bought it once, and that's when I played Ocarina of Time. But I'm typically, if I want to play a game like that, I'm gonna buy it and play it on original hardware. But if I can pick it up on the go and it looks even better, maybe I'll pick it up and I'll dabble with games that are too expensive to buy because they've gone crazy or they've gone up in price, kind of like Double Dash has. I was looking to buy that, but it's like a $75 game right now.
Oh,
so yeah.
But that was a fun.
That was a
game,
good one though. Yeah,
that was
Double Dash.
That's probably why it costs so much now.
Yeah, because I skipped school for that game. Yeah, that was a fun game.
Well, speaking of things they'd release, what games do you think would come out on it right away? Do you think they're gonna drop the Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess, and the different Metroid Primes 2 and 3?
I'm gonna be pissed if they do Wind Waker and Twilight Princess like as a launch game for the Switch 2, because it's like those games can be played on the one.
Exactly.
The wife walked in, so I tried to pause it, but all good.
They can be dropped on the Switch 1, and there's no reason they shouldn't be. So if they save it for the Switch 2 and be like, oh, sorry, this is an exclusive one for... I'm going to be like, dude, there was no reason not to have released this one.
Well, here, I'm going to give you this. With the backwards compatibility, I'm hoping they're going to do what Xbox and PlayStation did with... They'll release it on the new console. It'll play better on the new console, but you could still play it on the old console, right? So maybe they'll release the Wind Waker, Twilight Princess with that in mind. Like, hey, you can still play it here, but this will be like what it's really for. Like, this is going to showcase the new Switch. Does that make sense?
I mean, maybe, but why would you use games from what 3 consoles ago to showcase what Switch 2 do?
Money, nostalgia. It's already done. It's quick, easier port than a whole new game. I think that's
If they
why.
want money, they could easily get the money now if they just released it.
But then there won't be a console seller.
That's just my
give
thinking.
it to us.
Yeah, Dave just wants it now. You got to think of the big picture. The Nintendo's a pretty good company now, though, but they're still there for a profit, so they're trying to maximize profits. So
yeah,
that's why.
Well, and I think if they waited this long to port over Twilight Princess, I really feel like they should do more than just a HD remaster. I think they need to do like a. I don't know, I would love to see like a remake because again, that is one of the games that has, I don't want to say pushed the limits graphically, but they really did. That's probably like the most realistic Zelda we have.
Yeah,
I think it'd be really cool to see if they like remade it in a sense. I want to say remaster because that's too little. I want to say remake because maybe that's too much and too much effort. But somewhere in between, you know what I mean?
You know what I want a remake of? Zelda 2, The Legend of Link.
Yeah.
Or Link's Adventure, that's what it's called. That's what I want a remake of. Because then I'd actually play it.
Yeah, that's like the black sheep of the whole Zelda franchise. I have no desire to go back and play it. I have slight desire to replay or actually play the first Zelda, slight. But everyone who's played it, like older and never played it when they were younger, they don't get it, and so I don't know. That's I don't know, later on.
I mentioned this on the podcast like months and months ago, but it's like I played through it within the last couple of years, and this kind of opens my eyes to why Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, even though they're not, it's like because that game is just wide open.
Okay,
go wherever you want, figure it out. You know.
Yeah.
You kind of cut out.
Those are like
me.
that too.
You cut out, but you were saying that the first Zelda kind of laid the ground for the open world Zeldas.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because it's like, well, if you think about it, after playing so many years of like a pretty linear Zelda games, like, oh, go here, do this, and then but then you get Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, and it's like, here you go.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, that's exactly how the very first Zelda game was.
Yeah.
You know,
it's an adventure.
Well, see, and I think, do you guys prefer the open world compared to the linear?
I'm a linear guy.
Style?
I like linear.
I'm conflicted. I love them both, but Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom really, I don't know. It just the sheer adventure of them really just blew my mind.
Yeah, I would definitely say I was more into. I mean, I think personally, I'm more into the linear style, and the reason being is just because there's always a feeling that you can create. Like you can create if you make a game linear, you can get the player to feel a certain way about the game, and it's those feelings and those memories that really locks a player into a certain game, and I think that's true with all the games that I've played throughout the years, and I'm sure with you guys too. With an open world, you can't certain moments you can lock in to feel a certain way, but the order that the player experiences them isn't always going to be the same with that open world concept, and it's kind of now, mind you, the game is fun overall. With Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, the games are fun overall, but I think I just with a lot of the previous Zelda games, you have those feelings, like you can remember what was going on during that point in the game, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, or that was a really cool moment in the game, and I don't know. That's I guess my crappy take on it.
I don't know with the open world ones. It's like there are things happening in the world that you're not even going to see if you're just going from point A to point B, C, D to the end. You can miss entire sections of that entire world, and it's like, wow, it's crazy. I think I understand what you're saying, but I think the incentive to explore is those little moments that are memorable, within.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love the linear stories are amazing. And with a story, you can, the author or whatever can more guide the player on the path that they want. And like you said, it's like, then you get this because it's narrated, it's done, here you go. This is what I want you to feel when you feel it. But there's something
Yeah.
about that open world that's like, oh, hey, I'm just wandering through the woods and there's this little interaction here that I never would have seen,
Yeah.
because if I hadn't branched off the path straight to the next dungeon, I never even would have seen this. So
Yeah. And I think that's what kept me so locked in with Tears of the Kingdom. What was it? The underground area? I forgot what it was called.
yeah,
But that was like, to me, that was just so mysterious, and I wanted to keep exploring it as much as I could. Like if I came across like a stronghold or whatever, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go try to take that on. And if I was too weak at that point, I tried multiple ways to do it, and if I kept dying, I was like, all right, well, I gotta move on now. Um, but then you'd come across like those giant statues that would like give you certain outfit pieces, or give you like an extra heart, or whatever. And like those were always like really strange and mysterious to me. And then you'd come across like those coliseums where you do like the big battles.
yeah.
And that was my thing, is I was always trying to collect all the uniform items, um, because I wanted to get like the original Zelda tunic. I want to get the Ocarina of Time tunic and the Dark Link tunic, and all these different things. And that's, yeah. So like having that mystery to like those open worlds, like you see something in the distance, you're like, wait, what is that? You get veered off, and then you end up exploring this whole other thing, and you forgot where you were, and you go back and you start exploring where you were, and it's endless. And I did enjoy that with the open world concept. I played that game for probably 4 months straight, nonstop. So yeah, I there is an appreciation for the open world as well.
Gotcha. All right, so just moving on a little bit here, and also talking about backwards compatibility. Do you think the controllers will have the same, like not the ones you slide on the rail, obviously, but maybe if you have a charge or the Pro, do you think the Switch Pro controller will work for the Switch too?
I was thinking about that the other day as well. It's like, because I love my Switch Pro controller, um, and I'd like to keep using it. I'm wondering if they're going to have an updated one that's more specifically tailored to the Switch 2. And also, I'm thinking classic, like the NES and the SNES, N64 controllers that you can purchase. I'm wondering if maybe there will be some kind of I don't think the regular Joy will, but I'm wondering if just Bluetooth you can still continue to use these controllers, or if there will be some kind of attachment, because the regular Nintendo controllers for the Switch, they have that same rail system on them. I'm wondering if there will be some kind of attachment to make them easy to charge or connect them to the Switch 2. That's what I was thinking about the other day.
Yeah, if it's a Bluetooth connectability, I don't see why Nintendo would block you from doing that. And it'll be up to you to figure out how to charge it, right? But like you said too, maybe they'll have another type of way to charge it, like a rail you can click it onto. But I really hope they don't block that technology, because if they do, obviously that'd be Nintendo trying to make more money. Then we'd have to go buy a whole new controllers, because I don't like using the Wishbone, and I don't like using the Joy-Cons at all if I can help it. So I think I have 4 or 5 just like third-party controllers, mainly the Power A or the Fusion. Power A Fusion. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
I have a lot of controllers I've put a lot of money into, and I take good care of that I like using for my Switch, and I hope they're not obsolete now, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Especially for like the classic games, because I do like using playing NES game.
Yeah. But
You know, the Super Nintendo or whatever.
Any other thoughts on the Switch?
Just bring out Metroid Prime 4. That's all I'm waiting on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
date.
if they do release that, well, if they do release that with Metroid Prime 4, then I'll probably get it first day.
Yeah.
We'll see, though.
I guess that'll
That'll
have to be the
probably be one of
launch
those
lineup.
games that you can play. That'll probably be one of those games you can play on the original Switch.
Yeah.
And upgrade it on the Switch too, I imagine. Because I mean, what they announced it like 4 or 5 years, something like that.
Oh, more than that.
Yeah.
I was before I met you guys. They announced it. So
Was it?
Yeah, it was. I think 16 or 17.
And all they did was what's it called? 4 as the reveal.
Yeah. And then they had the restart, but yeah, I agree with you. I think that's going to come out. Hopefully, be a launch title. So you all think this is going to launch holiday season, like September,
Probably
October? Yeah.
That's my best guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think shortages are going to be? Because scalpers are going for them first.
Oh yeah. I think it'll be difficult to find it for the first holiday, but like this time next year, I think you'll start seeing them pop up in stores. And then the scalpers starting to get screwed about this time. I think people are done getting scalped. I don't think people are going to buy it. If they see it on a scalper price, I don't think we're going to go out and buy it. That's just me, though.
No, I agree with you. I hopefully people are wising up, because I do see posts. It's like scalpers crying that they got a garage full of PS5s because they scooped them all up and now they can't move them.
Good.
It's like, fuck you.
Absolutely good. So, but okay. Well, let's take a pause here. We've been going about an hour, and I still want to talk about our next topics, which would be, let's see, our goals for 25, predictions, and any news that we want to discuss. But let's take a quick break, and then we can get back to it. That sound good to y'all?
All right. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. That was a quick break. For you guys, it was 2 seconds. For us, it was about 10 minutes. But all right. So, guys, what are your goals for 2025? I guess your gaming goals, if you have any. Anybody?
Go ahead, Mikey.
So chivalrous. Can't even say that word. Anyway. So goals. I mean, I guess kind of like what I was saying. I guess on the introduction or whatever was probably hit Prestige Master for Black Ops 6, which that's, I don't know. Is that really a goal? Probably not. I probably want to, if I get bored and I find the drive to actually start playing some of the games that I've been wanting to play, I'll probably want to at least complete Dying Light 2. I don't know. Do you guys ever played the first one?
No.
Or heard of it, I
too
guess?
spooky for me.
I'm not a zombie guy.
Okay, so I guess that's common theme between Black Ops and Resident Evil, and yeah. Anyway, so no, it's a good game. You guys know the concept of it at least?
Yeah.
Well, I'll explain it in case anybody hasn't heard the
Thanks
game.
for asking then.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking about the people that don't know.
Thanks for asking for no reason.
Yeah, Mikey, that's okay.
You guys ever played the game? I don't care. All right, cool.
Let's pretend we have listeners. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, anyway, the basic concept obviously is zombie outbreak. But the zombies, they are what's the opposite of immune? They are sensitive to like UV light. And so like purple light essentially. And so that's like, there's bases set up. Like you in the first one, you're trying to like resupply the people in the city. And when so the zombies are pretty bad during the day, but then come during nighttime, there's like a whole another ball game to like the zombies get more aggressive. There's actually like more like uber zombies or whatever you want to call them. I can't remember the name of them, but they're like more aggressive. They're super fast, and it's a pretty cool concept of game. So navigation, it's like an open world, but the cool part about it is you get to like parkour, pretty much do parkour like throughout the city, help navigate. You can scale walls, you can jump off of buildings, jump across buildings, jump over cars, parkour. And so the second one, just pretty much takes that concept and amplifies it. So now you get like hook, like grapple hooks. You get like paragliders where you can, if the building is, you scale a tall enough building, you can paraglide down to a safe location. And it seems pretty cool. The combat was more, they uh, made the combat more complex. They made the combat more realistic, more gruesome and gory and all that stuff. Zombies even more so. Um, and so, really cool game. I started playing it. You can actually, and the cool part about it is what made it like really hook with me was like me and my buddy. My buddy had asked me if I wanted to play. The game was like $15, so he's like, "Yeah, I'll buy it for you. If you play with me." And so we played. You can go out and do missions together and go, kill zombies together. So it's a really cool, fun game. But then they actually added it to where you can finish the campaign on the second one. You can finish the campaign with co-op. And so on the first one, it was just like certain missions were available to you, like during co-op. But now on the second one, you can do the entire story co-op. And so, really cool game. I just haven't played it yet. Um, Looked really fun. Just one of those games you have to get into and sit down and play, invest your time. And I just, Call of Duty is one of those games you can, like with zombie matches, you can kind of pick them up, put them down. Multiplayer, same thing. You can play like a 10-15 minute match and then be done. But that's one of my goals. I don't know. I guess another goal could potentially be is getting a PS5 Pro, but I just don't think I'm going to get one. It's just not enough, not enough of an upgrade to justify the price. So,
That's what I was thinking about that as well. I was actually talking to my wife earlier about that, and she was like, "I'm surprised you didn't get it." And I was like, "Well, I don't really see a reason to right now."
yep.
You know?
I think if you're going to make that much of an investment, you might as well put that extra $700 towards a PC. That's just how I kind of felt about it.
Yeah, would
Chris, I'm
100%
sure you would agree.
Yep, absolutely. No, but all right, Dave, you got any goals?
Um, Pretty much my goals are I want to do, and I do this challenge often. I fall through with it or follow through with it, but I want to get one platinum a month at least this year
Dang.
on games, and I've already got 4 games picked out, and I'm just gonna read through them real quick. Life is Strange, the latest one, Double Exposure. Banishers, Ghost of New Evil West, and A Plague Tale Requiem. I'm looking to play those ones. Now, not necessarily in that order, just whichever one grabs me. And of course, they may be pushed down the list or pulled off. But, excuse me, I got a cough real quick. But, like, games like Assassin's Creed Shadows are coming out this year, and I'm being an Assassin's Creed game, I'm probably going to platinum that.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you got delayed again?
Really fit on the list. Yeah, I did.
It was like 2 weeks,
Okay.
though. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'd like to get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth finally platinumed and done off this list. But yeah, I mean, goals wise, I'm I'd like to break through a lot of my backlog, and it seems like work stuff and other things just kind of always get in my way. But I'm my plan is to like actually double down and be like, hey, it's like I want to play through these things. It's like, why am I not doing it? So, and playing a lot more Switch. I want to play through that Metroid series, the numbered Metroid series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are awesome goals. Those are very similar to what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to not buy any game that I'm not super hyped on, because I'll like watch a YouTube video about some random game. I was watching one about 007 games on Xbox, and it got me so pumped for no reason, like other than just watching that video, and I wanted those games. So of course I jump on eBay and I buy them, and then I never play them, right? So my goal is to not buy a game that I know I'm not gonna play. Does that make sense? Like,
well, you're a better man than me, because you know me, I buy everything.
Yeah, I gotta stop. My backlog is huge, and I'll add to my backlog if it's like a free game from like the Epic Game Store, or something like that, something really like $1 or $2. Okay, fine, but I'm trying to be very intentional, and when I start a game, as long as I somewhat enjoy it, I'm going to finish it. I'm not just gonna like stop playing it. So I'm gonna go like I'm about to finish Uncharted, that whole series. Well, the good ones, the Nathan Drake series. I'm about to finish those up, hopefully tonight, if all goes well. And then I think I'm gonna start pushing on Zelda again. I'm gonna finish A Link to the Past, and then if I'm feeling brave, I'm gonna jump into Tears of the Kingdom. But we'll see. My goal is to not buy any more games that I'm not gonna play. So I see myself buying Gears of War E-Day, and I think that's it. I don't see another game right now.
I'm hoping that comes to Xbox.
What, Gears?
Yeah.
It will.
Or sorry, PlayStation.
That's something else we could talk about, like the whole Microsoft trying to send their franchise games to other platforms. I get it. I get why, because money. But then you're kind of just ostracizing all the people who buy your Xbox. What's the point of me having an Xbox if I could just buy a PlayStation, have everything?
Yep.
I think they're actually trying to move away from the console space, because it's like they've already got PC pretty much wrapped up. And you can play almost anything on PC nowadays. I heard that Halo is PlayStation, so
I saw that. Yeah,
they're talking about the Master Chief Collection. It's different. Yeah. That's okay. That's old. That's like it's good. It's good games, but they've been out so long. That doesn't bother me. Like, it's okay, cool.
The way I see it is, if it saves me from buying a new console, I'm good with it.
Well, would you have bought an Xbox just to play the Master Chief Collection right now?
I did when it came out on what was it, 360?
Well, right, that was like Halo 3 and
or
whatnot.
1S.
Okay, so all right, so
yeah,
it's been out. I think it came
whatever
out 10
one was
years
before
ago.
the current one.
Yeah, that would be 5. That would have. Yeah, I got you. I got what you're saying. If you haven't already bought an Xbox for Halo, I don't think you're going to. So unless they're talking about Halo having their own industries now, or their own studio called Halo Industries. If the new Halo games come out on PlayStation day one, then I'll have a problem. But even if Halo Infinite comes out on PlayStation 5, I would be like, okay, yeah, Microsoft's trying to make some money. Got it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, it does. But I just think that it's like the Halo games are great. The Gears games are phenomenal.
Absolutely,
I love them to death. I would be super stoked if I could play them on PlayStation.
Okay, if you got to give me like 2 years, since I bought into the Xbox, right? I have the Series X, and I bought it like within the first year of it coming out. So if I should have just bought a PlayStation 5, you know how pissed I'd be? Like, I'm not playing Spider-Man 2 yet because I can't justify was it $350 right now for a base PS5? But
hey, no, I totally understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that me as a gamer, who primarily games on PlayStation. I would love to be able to play them, but at the same time, I'm also, why can't we port some of these games over to the Xbox as well?
Yeah, Sony's not going to do
Like,
that.
I don't go by this whole tribalism thing. I purely play PlayStation because, well, I started with the PlayStation 1 and I've continued ever since. And I've dabbled in, Xbox as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like I'm not like, oh, death to Xbox, or it's like, PlayStation sucks, or
Right. It's not tribalism anymore. Is I like them both, but I'm on a budget. Like I can't afford both consoles. Like, okay, I could, but I don't know how I could justify to myself that I could buy both consoles. So I had to pick one, and I picked Xbox, right? And if you're telling me I should have picked PlayStation, like, it kind of makes me mad. Like, is that making sense?
well, at the end of what was the third Indiana Jones, when the guy drank out of the chalice, and then the knight said, "You have chosen poorly." That's not how I feel about your choice right now. You chose
I
poorly.
did because of Halo and Gears. I don't know.
That's funny. Well, you say you're on a budget, but then you bought a $1,000 PC.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
that was within my budget.
Yeah, you can play those games on PC. Buy a
Yeah,
PlayStation 5 for console games.
is Spider-Man 2 on PC yet?
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't think
That's
so.
a good question.
I don't think it is. Because if it is, I will play it, but I won't be able to stream it or record anything because it would probably melt my
your
computer.
PC would blow up.
Yeah, it'd melt. So that's all right. One day I'll get a PS5. They're getting cheaper. I think I saw them for $350, and that's pretty close. That's getting there.
Chris, it releases on January 30th.
Really?
Yep.
There you go.
Maybe I'll be playing some Spider-Man 2 and breaking my goal within the first month.
No, but I mean, you'll play that though, and you'll really enjoy it.
I probably would play it straight through. Yeah.
I haven't played it yet. Is it?
Yeah, it's amazing. You guys are missing out.
It's called The Amazing Spider-Man, Dave. Way to pick a good word.
I could have said spectacular.
Spectacular Spidey.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed Spider-Man 4 and Miles Morales. I really enjoyed those two games.
Yeah, they're great. They're great games.
The way they play so smoothly in the combat, there was nothing wrong with the games, except for when you're playing as Jane and you're trying to do the figure out the science part. I didn't really like that, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think every part of that game had its place, but I don't know, man. It's like that goes though. It's like, I don't know. I get it. Sony owns the rights to the Spider-Man movies to some degree, minus this weird Disney deal with. I don't know. And by the way, all those like Spider spin-off movies are garbage.
Yeah,
but so I get that. It's all tied up in legal mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
There's no reason a Spider-Man from one console. There's not. And don't get me wrong, I love Sony. I'm a PlayStation gamer. I always will be. But I don't know. I just don't see it. And see why, And then it's like Final Fantasy games. That's a series I think every gamer who likes Final Fantasy should be able to play regardless or what platform they, prefer. Now, maybe God of War or Uncharted.
Yeah.
Only birthed and grown franchises, but at the same time, it's like they're great games. And now they're on PC. So, or at least the God of War games.
Yeah, God of War
I don't
is.
know about Uncharted.
I will turn it off.
Yeah. So I haven't played the second God of War Ragnarok yet. I don't know if I will.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great, my friend.
I didn't really enjoy the first one. I know, that's blasphemy.
And also like Helldivers. Helldivers should be on Xbox too. We need as
Yeah.
many divers as we can get
I'd play
for
more.
democracy.
I would play more if it was on my Xbox for sure. I don't like playing on my PC too much. I don't know. I discussed this before, but yeah, I would probably play way more of that game if it was on Xbox. I know it's backwards from everybody else, but yeah, that's how it is. But all right,
Yes.
what predictions do y'all have, if you have any?
What do you mean by predictions?
Well, give me a wild or level-headed prediction for this year.
Well, my wild prediction is that Gears of War will come to PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah. Like other predictions though, hopefully Darksiders will be release date announced for this year.
5? Darksiders 5, right?
Well, if it's another numbered one, it'll be 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it'll be
Yeah.
bring death and
other than that, I don't have a lot of predictions. Like, the year is still young. We're not sure what's coming. Hopefully this Nintendo thing blows it out of the water and everybody's clamoring to get one.
Yeah.
People are stomping on other people at the store to get one. Like in the old days. But I'm hoping for Zelda and Mario game to be announced.
Like a new 3D Mario.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
oh yeah.
And then like a good new 3D Zelda. Hopefully, I'm conflicted, right? Because I would like it to the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom kind of subset of games, but I'd like something fresh too.
Yeah, I think it's too soon for a new 3D Zelda being even announced. However, I wouldn't be upset if they did.
Yeah,
I would like
As long as it's good.
I'd like a linear 3D Zelda. That's what I would like next. Like, I would be even cool if they came out with like a Majora's Mask 2 in a sense, something like that. Obviously, they're not going to label it that, but I think
that story's got a lot of lore to it, where you can definitely go. You could go down any rabbit hole to build another story off of. So I think that would be cool. That's hopeful thinking, but that would be cool.
That'd be sweet. All right, Mike, you got any predictions?
I would say, I don't know about one prediction I feel like we will see, probably just on par of the past couple years, is probably like a Resident Evil 5 remake.
Okay.
I feel like that either, if not towards the middle of the year, then maybe towards the end of the year, some type of announcement will be made. And then this one isn't really like a prediction, more of a hopeful wishing. But I really hope with the Donkey Kong Country series, I really wish that they would make another one. It'd be really cool if they did try to make something new.
I think they have to.
Yeah, like a new one, right?
Well,
yeah, because
they're making a whole Donkey Kong world. I'm sure you guys saw that at the Mario World, wherever that's at in Japan. They got a whole Donkey Kong section.
Universal.
Yeah. And I think they're building one in Hollywood as well, or LA area. And if they'd put all that money and time into a Donkey Kong area, don't you think they would make a new game to go along with it? So
it's obviously, I feel like they would. It's just I'm surprised it's taken, because Tropical Freeze came out for the Wii U, and that was done in like 2014, and that was like, man, that's going on 10 years. And then of course they've done they ported over the Donkey Kong Country Returns HD remaster or whatever, but it's been, come on guys, it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
We need to make something else, because they have Donkey Kong and all of his supporting characters like within Mario Party, Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers. They have all these supporting characters, and characters show up. It's just like, all right, let's make another game.
Yeah,
And they did great with all the recent. I say recent, but Tropical Freeze. Like that was a fun game. I just didn't play it again because I didn't have the Wii U too much like that long. I think I sold it after about 2 years of having it
yeah,
to get the Switch.
yep.
But
Well,
yeah.
they did add the funky mode.
The easy mode.
Oh, we were
We
playing
call it
Funky
funky
Kong.
around here, man.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good game, but no, those are my. I think for sure Resident Evil 5. I'm sure they'll make some type of announcement, and yeah, I hope this prediction comes true. But a new Donkey Kong Country.
All right. Well, for my prediction, kind of piggybacking off of you, the DK game. I hope it's a 3D DK game. Doesn't have to be a remake of DK64, but something along those lines. It doesn't have to be a collectathon either, but something similar to that would be just fantastic. Like make it kind of like Super Mario Odyssey, but like with Donkey Kong. I think that would be so much fun. And with them releasing the Switch 2 this year, I think they have to release another 3D Mario game to coincide with it. Hopefully, I don't care if it's Odyssey 2. I kind of hope they stay away from that and just come up with a new idea, something different. But if they do an Odyssey 2, I'm still on board. I'm still gonna pick it up, see how that goes. That's fun.
Yeah,
The Zelda
I
movie's
think
coming out. Hopefully, that'll be good. Okay, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say like if they do a Donkey Kong, then they should bring back the composer of the first three, the Donkey Kong Country series, David Wise. Like, I really think they should bring him back. They brought him back for Donkey Kong Country Returns to pretty much like orchestrate that soundtrack, which a lot of the music was from the original game anyway. Um, but hopefully they bring him back to implement some of like his creativity in those games because I think a lot of that's one of those things like I'll go back and I listen to like the soundtrack and I want to play that game again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that music slap, dude. I love that. I'm listening to it in my mind right now, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing, those whole games were great. The mechanics, how smooth the controls were. Those were great games. I just hope they continue. I don't really care for another 2D. I want a 3D one. I want to go 3D.
Yeah.
Other predictions, though, I see Microsoft digging themselves a bigger hole. I don't see them doing anything significant this year that I really care about. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll have to see. So
Have you guys kept your ear to the ground about the situation involving like AI and stuff?
a little bit. Like you talking about the Call of Duty AI skins and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's coming from like Activision, but I would not be surprised if like more companies start utilizing that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess for those that don't know, obviously like there's a heavy use of AI. Specific like a lot of what's known in like you know news articles and stuff like that is like in Call of Duty, you get like certain calling cards, or they release exclusive calling cards for like a seasonal thing or whatever. And they had like a zombie Santa, and the Santa had like six fingers, which led people to like, all right, now you're using AI, and then it kind of that was like the first little raised eyebrow moment. Um, and so then they started looking at more stuff, and like more screens were being like AI generated, and the next thing you know is that voice actors um, voice lines were being AI generated.
Yep.
They would take stuff that voice actors would use, and I kind of handle my son. Oops, like, no, they were using like AI generated lines for voice actors, and there's pretty much no protection for the voice actors. They're not getting paid for their voices to be used, which is kind of crappy. And so hopefully that doesn't trickle down into other things. But you know, that's like kind of what's going on right now. And so hopefully, voice actors of popular video games, series and stuff like that. Which I don't really see that being an issue with games like AAA titles like God of War or Uncharted, or because you have to sit down with the voice actor. They're doing like motion capture and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe something like Helldivers or something, where they have a certain diver, record lines, take their voice, use it without their permission, and not getting paid for it. So hopefully that doesn't continue.
What's scary is it's like, because I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and obviously, or you can hear that they're narrated by an AI voice, especially that one that almost sounds like Ice-T or whatever. And even when it comes to like ads and stuff like that, and it's like, well, you can tell it's AI, but barely. How long until you can't even tell it's AI anymore? Yeah, and that's one of those things that's kind of scary, because what if somebody takes Mikey's voice sample and has him say all kinds of heinous stuff somewhere, outside of the heinous things that he usually says.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, Mikey is public enemy number one.
I gotta go on the run like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wipe everybody's memory.
Yeah. You gotta go find your own Doctor Strange. I mean, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I think that is like the epitome of like cheapskateness that some of these companies, I think, are capable of, because if you're not even going to pay your people but still continue to pump things out using, there's got to be some kind of precedent where it's like you can't just use an actor's voice without paying them for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. There's work that needs to be done in this realm. This whole AI thing is scary. But don't you think it's weird that AI is doing all this like artistic stuff? Like I saw a meme. It was like, why is AI doing all this art and stuff, and I have to work every day? Shouldn't it be the other way around?
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't we be putting AI to work for us?
Yeah. Well, there's images floating around, especially like Facebook and stuff, where it's like they'll have people in like a military uniform, and it's got like they're like, oh, look at this soldier that just got home from deployment or whatever.
Oh yeah, and
they're with their baby. Well, not even the uniform part, but it's like the baby which looks like they're like 6 months old, and it's got like a full set of teeth. And it's
oh my god!
Yeah, or like 7 fingers.
Oh man!
Yeah, or there's like a third arm reaching around a person's shoulder or something like that. Yeah.
It's like, what is going on?
Man, you got to think, it's like, yeah, that looks funny and it looks silly, but at the same time, it's like so massively improved than what it was.
Yeah, they're going quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well, what other predictions you got?
That's all I have. I don't have any predictions whatsoever. Any more predictions? But what are y'all looking forward to in the coming months? What, like, games being released?
Well, I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've got a few. I got them written down right here. So been delayed a couple times, and I know there's a drama debate about it or whatever.
What
but
game
I'm
is that?
still looking forward to it.
Assassin's
Creed Shadows.
Yeah. Gotcha.
The Japan Assassin's Creed.
That'd be cool.
Doom: The Dark Ages.
Well, hold on. Let's go back to the Assassin's Creed one real quick, because the Ghost of Tsushima 2 is coming out like 2 or 3 months after that, and people are saying the Assassin's Creed Shadows and the new Ghost of Tsushima look so similar that a lot of people are probably just going to hold off and wait because they know, what is that, Turtle Rock Studios, right, has Ghost of Tsushima. It's going to be way better than an Ubisoft.
I think it's Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch, that's it. Sorry, yeah, not Turtle Rock, my bad.
Well, I mean, good for those people. I'm still going Assassin's Creed Game Collector's Edition statue like I've done for every Assassin's Creed. So, I mean, that's good for them. But I am also looking for a game, but I think it's like Ghost of... It's not Tsushima.
No, it's something else.
It's of a different part. And I think it takes place a couple hundred years later or something.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, too. But I'm also looking forward to Doom the Dark Ages.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, actually later this month they're going to have some showcase stuff about it. Of course, the next Darksiders game, I'm hoping to hear something about that this year. Mafia: The Old World, I'm looking forward to. And I just saw a trailer teaser, Blood of the Dawn Walker.
What's that about?
And I'm like, yeah, I guess it's about some guy who becomes a vampire, but he can go in I don't know. Pretty cool. I was like,
vampire,
okay, I can
get... not really.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I gotta save my sister or something. And then it's like these gross, like Nosferatu looking vampires.
Yeah.
Kill the people who were chasing them and then save his sister or something like that. And then I guess he gets turned or something too. But I mean, it looks cool. I'll have to see some gameplay before I fully commit. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay, pretty good. A lot of the same similar things I have on my list. I'll go over. Mikey, what you got? What you looking forward to?
I mean, so again, just kind of piggybacking off the prediction. I think Resident Evil 5. I think the fourth one took like took an already awesome game and really drove it forward with, like, you know, still keeping it true to the source material, but also amplifying the things that made it scary that were, you know, they took an already awesome game and made it better. And so I'm hoping with Resident Evil 5, if they do announce that this year, that the direction, because I don't know if you guys have ever played the fifth one, but that one's kind of like a nuanced game. A lot of, so the hype that Resident Evil 4 had, even like with the original Resident Evil 4, the hype that game had, Resident Evil 5 lost a lot of that fuel or traction, just with the series as a whole, just because it was more, they had tried to portray like a horror game, but they put it too much of like an action game. You know, there's a lot of chase scenes, like big heavy firefights, and like just very action packed, which wasn't exactly bad, but that left the scary or like the horror aspect of that game to be much desired for. And so I'm hoping with the remake that they do if they do with 5, you know, I hope it really keeps true to like the horror aspect and kind of puts the action as like a side, like as a side piece, you know what I mean? Like it's not exactly the main point of the game. And, you know, so hopefully that's one thing. There's actually another, like an indie game. So I don't know if you guys remember me talking about Grime.
Yeah.
But there's a second Grime that was announced. What was that, last year or 2023? And unfortunately, I haven't heard anything else about it. And I'm hoping, I think the developers were actually like an Israeli developer studio. And so I'm hoping, you know, just with the stuff that's going on over there, I hope that hasn't taken away anything from it. I haven't heard anything about it since the release or since the reveal, but that's another game I'm hoping we'll see more of this year, because that was such a cool, very cool, unique type game. So Grime 2, that's a fun one. What's another one?
Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Delta.
Oh
I'm sure
yeah,
that's one
yeah,
you're looking forward to.
yeah, and that would be. I think that's going to be really cool. Again, there's a lot of debate on whether or not they're going to bring back the original voice actors and or if they're just reusing lines from the original game. It'd be cool to see if they have re-recordings, but we'll see. But
Well,
yeah, that is a
Mikey.
oh,
I think they are bringing back David Hayter. Actually, I think he tweeted some.
well, that's another thing. Is like, hopefully, I don't know what Hideo Kojima is going to be doing with that series. I don't know if he's just completely done with it.
Oh, I think
Which,
he's done with it. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think
I
he's
mean,
allowed
just
to
based
touch
on
it.
what's that?
I don't think Capcom's going to let him touch it. I think that's it. Or
Yeah, and
Konami.
Konami. That's something. It's not Capcom. Hold on, Konami. That one. Yeah.
Yeah, he's busy with Death Stranding too, which I
Yeah.
think I should mention is also another game I'm looking to this year. But yeah, no, he's pretty much done with it at this. Konami pushing it out, but I think that's why they're bringing back David Hayter as
yeah.
the voice of Snake, or at least from what I gathered from his tweet that he tweeted out.
Well, and it's one of those things. I mean, that's one of those series that you can't exactly revive or keep it going. I mean, I don't know how old David Hayter is. He's probably got to be like 50 or something. But um, you know,
Is that really that
especially
old?
it's
Yeah,
it's
Mikey.
not that old. But just thinking about like motion capture, I know for like some actors that are doing that with video games now, they say like, no, this is like a full blown experience, and not saying that he couldn't do that because look at well, not that he was involved in much like action sequences, but who knows? It would be awesome to see if they could continue some type of, maybe this is just like the nostalgia talking, but maybe if they could keep it alive somehow, because I know that story's been going on for, 30 plus years, if not almost, it's coming up on 40, I'm pretty sure, or did it already hit 40? Because like
Well, I
with
mean, you talking about Metal Gear in general?
yeah, well, I
Yeah, I
guess
mean,
with
the
the voice
first one
actors,
came out in
yeah,
the 80s.
yeah,
Oh, well, the one Metal Gear Solid, the first one with the voice actors, that came out in 97, I
yeah.
think.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so almost 30 years, but even with the series itself coming up on 40 years, so it's kind of hard to, there's only so much you can do with the story before you should, okay, let's just let it rest, But hopefully that would shuffle in some type of new creativity to, maybe somehow keep the story going, or I don't know, maybe that's probably just the nostalgia talking, but I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Well, I'm sure Konami in general doesn't want to just leave the series sitting stagnant, because it's such a popular. The
Yeah.
first thing that they did after Kojima left was put out, what was it, Metal Gear Survive,
Yeah.
which flopped.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah,
Terrible.
that's what I was gonna say. As long as they don't make something like that again, we'll probably be okay. Because I think even Metal Gear Rising, I mean, I don't know, did you ever play that game, Dave?
oh, was that the one with you play as
Raiden?
Raiden? Yeah,
Yeah,
Raiden.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Which was
never
kind of
played it.
cool,
Just
but it was like super Fruit Ninja-y, because you had to move the sword, you had to chop in a certain way, you
yeah.
know.
Well, and like so, Metal Gear Solid 4. I'm sure I've been I'm sure at some point on one of our podcasts, I've probably gone on a rant about Metal Gear Solid 4, but that probably is a game other than like I don't know, maybe it's just a 4 thing, but other than like Resident Evil 4, I like over one summer, I probably played that game, 10 to 15 times. And I probably haven't played it since, but not that there's been a remaster, but that was like the peak of Metal Gear Solid because it brought in so many elements from the first, the second, and the third one that was like just, throughout that entire story, I was getting chills, and it was just such a good story. And,
Yeah, well,
that's
for
again,
every 2 minutes of gameplay, you had a 4-hour cutscene. So, I mean,
that is true. I think it was non-skippable, wasn't it?
Ugh.
I think so. I played it on PS3. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a good, I try to earn the big boss badge on that one. I never could. I just never finished it. But yeah, that was such a good game. So I hope they do. I hope this new remaster or remake shuffles in the desire for new Metal Gear Solids to be coming down the line. So
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully.
yeah.
All right. So I guess Mike, you got anything else you're looking forward to? Okay, he left.
Oh no, I'm here. Sorry.
All right, you got anything else you're looking forward to?
Uh, no. I mean, nothing that I can think of off the top of my head. I haven't really kept my ear to the ground, so
Okay.
I'm pretty stale, I guess, when it comes to news.
Yeah. Well, I don't have much because I'm looking forward to Doom, like Dave already talked about. And then I talked about Gears E-Day. And I'm not going to buy it or get it on Game Pass. I'm going to actually, I think, buy it physically because I'm a huge Gears fan. I know I've never played it on the channel, but that's one of the only series I've probably played multiple times through each game. I don't think I've even done that with Halo. And I'm looking forward to my sons growing up and sharing that game with them. They're a little too young. It's a little too gruesome. But within the next, I think, 4 or 5 years, I think they'll like to play it. Then lastly, the new Ghost of Tsushima game. It's like, I forget the name. Ghost of, what was it? Do you guys remember?
You know what? I can't remember it. I meant to look that up, and I put my phone down and forgot to.
But I loved Ghost of Tsushima so much. One of my favorite games of this last generation, I guess the PS4, PS5 generation. I'd like to continue that and see how that story progresses, or if they tie it back into it. The whole samurai fighting thing was, I don't know, it grabbed me. I really enjoyed it. So
Yote. That's what it was.
Yote. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, thanks for Googling that. But that's it for me. Just really those few games. I'm gonna really try to tackle my backlog. So justify all my spending. So
Yeah, I guess that's another one of the games that I need to hunker down and play because I know it's a PlayStation exclusive.
Mhm.
But Ghost of Tsushima, because I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. As with and I know you were finishing playing Uncharted 4, or you finished
yeah,
it?
no, I'll be done with it tonight, hopefully.
Okay, and that's funny story about that one. So I remember because me and my buddies we had always tried to get platinums for Uncharted 1 and 2 and 3, in which I think I got one for. I know I got one for the first two, and I think I got one for the third. And it was funny because I remember I just finished the third. I started picking up the fourth, and I was like, so I don't know. You guys might know what I'm talking about, but like when you're so involved in a game and then you put it down and you kind of like, I don't know. I guess I was so wrapped up in like the Uncharted world, so I started playing the fourth one, and I was like, I put it down, and I was just, I don't know. I was like, I'm pretty sure I finished Uncharted 4, so I gave it back to my buddy. But then I started seeing gameplay of Uncharted 4 like years later, and I was like, huh, maybe I didn't finish
Yeah.
Uncharted 4. And so I never finished it. I just finished Uncharted 3, and I thought I had finished Uncharted 4, but I never did.
Well, there's
But yeah,
also that
that's
other one too.
like the side game, right? With the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost
Chloe and
Legacy. Is that what it was called? Or is that the one
yeah,
on, yeah, Lost Legacy. And then the one on PS Vita is Golden Abyss.
yeah.
And then
Which
you
I'm
got to
sure
watch the movie starring Tom Holland
Mm-hmm.
and Mark Wahlberg.
you got Nolan North sitting on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah, in the cameo role.
Yeah, which he's that's I love Nolan North. He's such a good voice actor. I mean,
Yeah.
between Uncharted, The Last of Us,
Pretty
and
much everything.
he's in Zombies too. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
like I said, he's in like everything. You can't play a game and his name isn't in the credits somewhere.
Wasn't he in the first Assassin's Creed as Miles or something?
Yeah, he was in like
Yeah.
the
yeah,
first like 4 or 5
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed games as Desmond Miles.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was
yeah.
thinking about that
Good
yesterday,
voice actor.
listening to him. Like this, like he sounds exactly like Desmond Miles. I'm like, oh yeah, they're the same voice actor. Like, all right, cool.
It's because it's him.
Yeah, that is him. So I kind of pretended like I was like Nathan Drake was Miles. Like, nah, I like Nathan Drake way better.
Yeah,
Miles was
yeah.
a
It's
wimp.
which have you guys actually been able to follow the story of Assassin's Creed?
I did through Assassin's Creed 3, and I hated how it ended, and so I never cared again.
Yeah, the way I think the way that they were supposed to be or what they intended to do with the series in the beginning was okay, you start technically you're playing Desmond Miles, who's playing the historical figure or whatever. And
Yeah.
then I think that they planned on wrapping the series up day one and resolving everything, but they realized it was making so and they
So much
wrote
money.
off Desmond. But yeah, it's like the historical stuff as standalone things. It's like, okay, this is a part and parcel story. The modern day stuff is where it gets like, and then that's not even to mention the super space aliens from the far past or what
Yeah,
that start
Like,
coming into it.
that's from the original trilogy, right? Like
Well,
the
from
alien
everything.
portion of. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's,
'Cause yeah, after the third one, I kind of stopped. I didn't really know what to make of the series, and then like Origins came out, Odyssey came out, and I was like, I don't even know where the story's at, so I didn't really
yeah,
care.
they get heavier into like the precursor stuff, or what do they call them, the ones who came before or whatever. I think it's based
Okay.
on, the people who were before people type
Yeah.
stuff, but it's like Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla.
yeah,
um what was it called, Mirage. They all fed a lot into that whole the pre people. I know I've
Okay.
called them like a bunch of different names the entire time, but yeah,
The ancient
the
ones.
modern day stuff has gotten a scale, I think, since the original, Desmond storyline.
yeah,
Well, and it's funny because you kind of look at games as a whole, and so I'd say probably between late 2000s to about late 2010s, a lot of games are going towards um, like towards the future. All these games are pointing towards the future, like what the future would look like, and all this uh, super technology and all this other crazy stuff. But then now, like I'd say probably from like 2018 beyond, they started looking to the past. Like, all right, people are getting fed up with the futuristic stuff. Let's kind of, we'll go back to ancient times or whatever. Because same thing with like Call of Duty. Call of Duty was, they had like jetpacks and all kinds of stuff, and people were like, all right, this is getting old,
Yeah, like
and a whole bunch of other games.
exosuits and
yeah,
all that kind of thing.
Yeah, and so then, and then I feel like a lot of gaming industry, gaming developers were like, let's get rid of the futuristic stuff and start peeling it back a little bit, So, but yeah, good games. I haven't finished Valhalla. Seemed like a good game. It was one of those games you had to like really sit down and invest your time in, which so
Yeah,
is
like
any other
200
game.
hours worth of time.
Well, it's just not one of those games where you can sit down, play it for an hour because you have to get so invested in, like, you have to rekindle what was going on in the story Like, what was I
Mikey, you're
doing?
telling me I got the platinum trophy for it. It's like I gave up through DLC because they kept adding to the game. It's like, dude, at this point, I'm not even being respectful of my time here.
Yeah.
It's like this is the only game I want to play for the rest of my life. It's like,
Yeah.
stop.
Well, and it's funny because I got that game brand new with $10 off. I can't remember what was going on, but I think it was like the release of the PlayStation 5, and they had a deal where if you buy it digitally, you'll get $10 off. And so I bought it discounted, like day one discounted, and I just I never picked it up. I probably played about a good 4 to 6 hours on it and just never continued playing it.
Yeah, that's not enough time.
It was good what I did play. Again, it's just like one of those games, you can't exactly put down for a long time and then try to pick back up because you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time. A good trick for that is go on YouTube and kind of watch somebody else play it for a minute or two. Maybe you can figure out where you were, but it's more or less the mechanics for me and like where to go is why I could kind of get lost, and I don't want to relearn to get back into the game. But I completely understand what you're saying with that. Yeah.
Yeah, my method of dealing with that is either power through
Yeah.
and like
Just don't put it
relearn it
down.
or start the game over.
Yeah,
Yep.
start a 30-hour game over when you're 15 hours in.
Yeah, obviously
No.
it's not feasible to do it when you're like 30, 40 hours into a game. But if you're only at the beginning, you can be like, okay, well, I guess I'll just start. Before you know it.
Yeah. Well, that's so. And I think it's just my way of tackling a game because there's a completionist part of me where I'm like, I want to do everything, I want to get everything done, and I want to complete this game to its fullest, And I tried to start doing that with Valhalla, but the map is just so massive. Like it's just so huge. And so I get to the point to where I get defeated before I even started, and I'm like, I've spent 4 hours playing this game, and I barely cracked, like a thousandth of the map. Like, you know what? I'm done.
Yep.
That's just. So maybe I need to approach that game as if I just need to complete the story, and then if I want to continue playing it after that, cool. Um, I think it's just my self-defeating completionist habit, which I need to kick. Not exactly kick, but maybe for that game, put it aside.
Yeah,
For
definitely
that one
loosen it up.
specifically, yeah, because it is just too much. It's way too much. It's like, and I love Assassin's Creed games. But that one was like, dude, I'm crawling around along this like looking for little trinkets and stuff to wipe things.
Yeah.
At this point, it's not even fun.
No, not fun at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm the type of person when I play Donkey Kong Country, I collect all the bananas. Like my wife.
That's different than that's a little different than trolling the entire Norse world to find like little items all across the map.
Yeah, that's child's play compared to that.
That still annoys me though, Mikey. I can't get all the bananas. If I missed one, like, okay, I'll move on. My wife hates it. She hates it when I like leave a coin to Mario. I don't care. I have 100 others.
Oh. What are you doing?
It's not worth my time to pick up this coin.
No. Yeah. No. So yeah, I'm gonna complete. Maybe I should start completing games more. Like actually try to get the bananas. I won't.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. So. No, they're good games, fun games. I just got to pick them up and play them. That's my only thing.
Yeah. All right, we've been going on almost 2 hours here. Any final thoughts?
I think I've said.
I don't think so.
What I need to say.
Like I always say, it's like, like I always say, it's always fun getting on here, talking video games with you guys.
Yeah, I like to try to
Hopefully
do it.
I can stick to my. Sorry.
So I'd like to do it every like 2 weeks or so, but I know we've been like crazy busy and all over the place. But now the holidays have subsided. When I get back from this work trip I'm leaving for on Monday, hopefully we can start doing it on a bi-weekly basis. So
Yeah, that sounds good to me, man.
yeah.
I mean, as long as it's on my weekend and late enough in the day, I'm down.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't got nothing else to say. I look forward to this this coming year on games. I think it's going to be okay with the new Switch coming out. Hopefully, we get some more information on that. Well, we will get more information on that in the next Nintendo Direct. But yeah, like always, I appreciate y'all, getting on here, talking with us, or talking with me, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
Spud Club out.
Out.
Fucking nerds.